Well, I was doing a sunset abundance walk yesterday, and I'm walking past all these homes here on the Strand on the beach in Los Angeles that are 15 million, 25 million, 45 million dollars. And it's just beautiful blue skies. And you know that bright orange sun is going to come down and just paint like a spectacular vision. And I got hit with a message that literally stopped me from walking. And I had to sit down on one of the many benches that aligns the sand here. And I know now to trust that. When the universe does something like that, when God does something like that, I know to listen. It's like, okay, I'm hearing you. I'm paying attention. What's the message for me? And the message was in the form of a question. It was, what if it does get to be this easy? What if it does get to be this simple, where you set your mind to truly wanting and desiring something and believing that it is without a doubt possible for you, and that you're taking actions and steps towards it in a way that feels fun to you, in a way that feels nourishing, in a way that feels exciting. And you do the best that you can do on any given day. And that's more than enough. And that's all you need to do. And we've been overcomplicating it and making it so much harder than necessary all along, because it feeds the narrative of giant companies trying to sell us things. It feeds the narrative of politicians. It feeds the narrative of fear, of scarcity. But what if it really is that simple of we get back into abundance and focus on that first? And it's right there. It's often those simple things that are the most life transforming things that you could possibly do.
If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it.
What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? This is your host, Tiffany Carter, and you are listening to the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Just so you know, I decided to do an August flash bonus sale inside my famous ProjectME Posse business coaching membership. There's just a handful of new member spots. I keep that posse membership at an intimate size so I can integrity call it a business coaching membership where you're really getting group coaching. It's not some membership with thousands of people that you get lost and you never show up. Like, we notice when you're not there. And you get weekly live trainings by me and other guest experts, live Q&A every single week, a membership portal of over 300 prior live trainings that you get unlimited access to. And the bonus that you're getting for new members is my content creation made easy course bundle that's normally $297. And you don't get that anywhere else. You can't buy that separately. This is the only way to get it. And I have fill in the blank caption templates. I have my millionaire content map. It's all laid out for you and it's really simple. And this isn't some course with like 500 modules that you know you're never going to finish. Look at it like, for those of you who remember Cliff Notes, which I know that's like hashtag 90s baby life, but it's the Cliff Notes version. Because I don't know about you, but I have a lot of courses that are sitting somewhere in my computer right now that I've not finished or haven't even started because it felt like it'd be such a big daunting task. So I make all of my stuff really short so that you can complete it and actually get the information you need and make things happen. And the cool thing about the posse is I don't do any long-term commitment. Now you can join for a year and you absolutely do get a significant savings, or you can do month to month and it's $3.33 a day. So you can swipe up, get that link. The bonus and everything is automatically applied and it'll be emailed to you. So you don't have to like do a code or anything like that. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/projectme posse. And again, if you go to the page and it says closed, that's because all the new member spots are already filled up. And then you can just check in every day and see if one opens up. So even if you need to pause this and go there right now, you want to grab this bonus because this alone, I know, has absolutely changed the game for people when it comes to their content and all the time it takes them and how much money it converts and translates into. So where did I get this number for this episode title? Where I was like, okay, I knew I wanted to teach my normalization technique, my manifestation technique. It went viral on the TikTok land. And I will do my best to remember to have that exact TikTok video linked in the show notes because I think that'd be really helpful. Now, the steps are going to be, I don't know, elongated. That word creeps me out. I don't even like saying that word, elongated. Ew. There's additional steps in this episode because I can go more in depth into the normalization technique. So just know when you go on the TikTok video for it, it is very simplified. But where did I get $37 million from? I sat here and went, since I've been using this technique, which has been, I don't know, I would say 15 years now, how much have I generated? That doesn't mean it's in my bank, right? Because there's revenue. I've made the money for other people, the experiences and the things that I've manifested and the value of those things. And it was kind of a fun exercise, actually. So that would be a fun bonus exercise for you to do is why don't you sit and keep a running list of all the things you've manifested, all the experiences, all the stuff you've created, even stuff like I've won trips, I've gotten things for free, and put the monetary value of that thing and you start adding it up. It becomes a lot of money. It's really a great evidence bank exercise that you can do and you can go back to when you're like, oh, this isn't working. This isn't happening fast enough. I don't know. Is this manifestation thing bullshit? Is this kind of like some stuff that we want to believe is real? Because it can't possibly be that easy. It can't possibly be that simple. Is it just all a coincidence? And you can come back to it. So that's where the 37 million came from. So I'm breaking this down so that you can follow these steps. I've taught these to, oh God, probably millions of people at this point. I've taught them to one-on-one, large groups, you name it. And countless amounts of emails we've received, messages that we've received over the years of examples of what people have manifested, what people have called into their lives, how things have shifted. And this doesn't have to take months. So that's another interesting belief system and resistance that happens with people, especially when I teach you something that's really simple and straightforward and actually easy and even delightful to do. It's like we short circuit. It can't be easy and delightful. Like anything that really works really well, that yields great results and abundance, it has to be hard. It certainly can't be fun, and it can't happen fast, and it can't be easy, because that goes to the opposite of most everything we've been conditioned to believe, unless you're like a rare unicorn who was raised in a very conscious household by incredible manifestors. And I've met some people like this. What a beautiful gift. Beautiful gift. I had a makeup artist in one of my Miami shoots, and I believe her mom still listens to the show. So shout out. My apologies for not remembering your name off the top of my head. And she is a longtime student and manifester. And she raised her daughter, who is my makeup artist, with those principles. And the success and the energy that has been, and the belief system that was imprinted and encoded in her daughter was remarkable. I was like, you felt it in the room. And I told her that. I was like, you literally, because we had some shit that went down at that shoot. There's always some shit that goes down when you're doing a launch. You have a big brand shoot, you have a big thing. There's always something. Someone was going sideways and dealing with some personal shit. So their energy was so heavy. But because her energy was so light from doing this work, it radiated and snuffed out the negative energy and like saved the shoot. It was really remarkable. So you remember this. And if you've not done this, this is your sign to do this, because I am not running this special gift giveaway much longer for you to get my Work Less While Making More brand new workbook. It's going to be for sale soon, but you can get it right now for free as long as you leave a written podcast review on Apple Podcasts. All you have to do is do the review, leave your name or your Instagram or TikTok handle in the review, because I know some of you don't want to put your name for whatever reason, and that's fine. Take a screenshot of it and email it to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. Those quick instructions are right in the show notes, so you can swipe up and see those. And if you're multitasking, your Wi-Fi sucks, yes, you can do the review, leave your name or Instagram, TikTok handle, take a screenshot, and you can DM it to me, and you will end up getting a reply from me with the email to send it to. So that's an option, but I prefer you do direct to email. And then once the special gift giveaway celebration that we're doing is over, we will be sending out the workbooks, and it takes you 30 seconds and you get this for free, or you can wait until it's for sale and then pay for it. I don't know why you would do that, because this is also a way for you to show your gratitude, for you to show your appreciation if you're getting a lot out of the show, whether this is your first episode, whether you've been binging me, whether you've been around for years or you're new. Because if you want to receive appreciation, testimonials, reviews, love, abundance, you have to check yourself first and see, where am I giving that out into the world, and how often am I giving it out? Am I only doing it on my days where the coffee hits right, my skin looks cute, I don't feel puffy, and all the stars are aligned? Or am I also consciously making an effort to give it out even on my worst days? Right now, as I'm recording this, and if you're watching this, what's up? Because ProjectME TV, we now have the podcast on there, so you can see this glorious face of mine and behind the scenes of what it looks like when I'm recording. A lot of you are visual learners, I've come to understand, which is why I am investing and spending money to make sure this is on ProjectME TV on YouTube. And it's fun to see behind the scenes, but also there's like an energetic connection that I know a lot of you feel. And then you can type in the comments on YouTube as I'm talking, which further cements in the lessons and the connection. Plus, it can just feel entertaining. So if you're watching on YouTube or you want to go look, I mean, how cute is this hat? Thank you. It pretty much, I have a double deal going on. So it's a double ZFG, but you'd have to go on ProjectME TV to see it. But I've been walking around like this. No wonder people are like, who is this chick? Either she's cool or she's like terrifying. And depending on the day, you don't know what you're going to get. Let's get in to this normalization technique. Take notes, type it in the comments, whatever you have to do to cement this in. Listen to this episode several times. What would be cool would be for you to also share this episode with someone who's also into manifestation. They want to try it, because then you guys can practice this normalization technique at the same time, but on different things in your life, and then kind of report back to each other. And then that magnifies and amplifies that energy, and it just makes it more fun, because the more fun we have, what happens? The more money we make. Opposite belief of what most of us were taught, right? You want to get the A, you've got to study all night. You want to get the top job, you've got to cut people down along the way and stomp on people to get to the top of the ladder. You want to make a lot of money, well, the early bird catches the worm, and you've got to sacrifice. And yeah, you can have some accomplishments doing it that way with a big ass cost on the other side. And I know, because I've done things that way for a lot of my life. And let me tell you something. There is another way, and this is it. I'm really tired today, by the way. Not cunty with a K, but I'm something. I need to have an in between. Because cunty with a K is we know what that is, but there's like an in between. I'm not in a bad mood, but I'm like, I'm tired. I always want to show up for you guys, but this is an example of me showing up regardless and trusting that what I'm delivering with my limited energy today is the best you get, and it's more than enough, and it's exactly where I'm supposed to be in my exact current energetic state for you to best receive the wisdom here and the message. Because if I was supposed to be in a different state, I would be. So I have to trust it, and I'm choosing to trust it. And so it is. So let's go. Okay. First step. And I have notes here. Okay. Like, we can't read them, and I'm showing them on the screen. We can't read the notes because my handwriting's terrible, but there's notes. So I'm professional, just so you know. So some things I've used to this technique for, so that it can kind of spark you, and you can go, oh, I could use it for this. Only flying business or first class, getting out of the coach land. Okay. Unless it's by choice, to live oceanfront in Los Angeles, where literally paying $15,000 a month, monthly facials, weekly massages, working less while making more money. So there's some things. The first step in the normalization technique is believing that there is a way. It is a version of believing it's possible, but you believing there's a way. There's always a way, because your brain might go, well, Tiff, I don't have the money. Let me use the example of, right, like, oh my God, spending that much money to live oceanfront, like that seems irresponsible, blah, blah, blah. Now, technically I had the money, but I certainly didn't want to like deplete my savings. I didn't want to put myself into a scarcity spiral to do it, or be house poor. But there's always a way. This is a good example, but I know it's an extreme one, and probably like a few levels beyond maybe where you're wanting to manifest right now, but some of you are there. But when I was making $17,000 a year, I really wanted to make sure that I had like nice suits to be on air as a newscaster, and not be wearing some janky, cheap blazers, which, by the way, unless you're super skinny, you wear like cheap shit like that, it's not flattering, especially on TV. That makes everyone look noticeably larger and points out every flaw. I found a way because I believed there was a way. So you have to believe there's always a way, regardless of your current circumstances. The clients that come to me, that join my mastermind, that join the posse, that apply for private coaching with me, that join any of my programs, who aren't sitting on a pile of cash, they're coming to me in order to be able to start and grow their business, where it's not obvious how they're going to get the money, but they believe there's always a way. And because they believe so strongly there is a way to make this happen without a doubt, guess what happens? They make it happen. How does that work that way? Here's how this works. When you believe there's an absolute way, even though the way is not in front of you right now, even though the way isn't obvious to you right now, even though the way hasn't presented it to you yet, that conviction and that energy alone, number one, makes the universe co-conspire with you on getting creative and finding a way and presenting you with a way, almost like you asking for a sign, right? It's no different. It also makes your conscious mind, now it's like this beacon. It's like one of those giant searchlights that go back and forth that you see in the sky. It's like one of those giant searchlights. Even while you're doing laundry, you're working out, you're doing something else. This searchlight, because of the energy that you've put out there and that conviction, it's constantly scanning now in the background for a way because you've put it on alert. You've set it on autopilot, almost like a GPS that's going on, that's not burning any energy of yours. It's not taking any more of your time. That's not taking any more of your emotional bandwidth. And it's searching for it because you've really planted a strong seed. But you've got, the trick here is you've got to believe with absolute certainty there's a way. So I'm going to share a quick story with you that I pulled up so that you can see what I mean. Okay. So I'm reading this, so bear with me. In the early 20th century, this guy, Roger Bannister, who was a British middle distance runner, he set his sights on achieving a seemingly impossible task, right? Breaking a 4-minute barrier in the mile run. And at the time, many experts believed that running a mile in under 4 minutes was physically impossible to the human body. Okay. Where they were citing studies and really adamant. I'm talking highly educated people. The prevailing belief was that the body would simply give out under the strain. And despite this skepticism and lack of evidence to suggest otherwise, Bannister was undeterred. He trained tirelessly, pushing his limits and visualizing the achievement of his goal. And on a chilly day on May 6, 1954, Bannister stepped onto the track in Oxford, battling strong winds and fatigue. So he even had elements that were unexpected that were against him, where he's running against strong winds. And shout out to my UK listeners. And if you've traveled to England, you know that that's the general weather there most of the time. But he's battling these strong winds and fatigue. He completed the mile in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds, shattering the long-standing myth and proving that the impossible could be achieved. And this wasn't just about his physical prowess. It wasn't just because he trained and worked and forced and pushed. It was a testament to the power of unwavering belief. He defied the evidence, ignored the naysayers, and held on to the conviction that he could achieve what others deemed impossible. So this story teaches us that when doubt creeps in, it's crucial to focus on your vision and harness the strength of your belief and relentlessly pursue your goal, regardless of the evidence stacked against you. And that is beautiful evidence. And there's tons of this evidence in history. You can start Googling evidence of this, and maybe you need to. Maybe that will help you get into that unwavering belief. There's always a new way. How do you think all these incredible inventions occurred? How do we have electric cars? How do we have self-driving cars? That's wild. That's who remembers the cartoon, The Jetsons? I loved that cartoon as a kid. I love the Flintstones too, but The Jetsons. And it's now that was wild as a kid. Oh, that'd be cool. They're flying cars, but I know there won't ever be. Now those are happening. Now, would my ass get on a submarine to go down to the Titanic? A big fuck no. And that's not happening. I wouldn't even go down a mile. I'm not interested in being under the weight of the ocean. I prefer to be on the top. Okay. Just saying. The second part of the normalization technique. I want you to state what you are no longer available for. And then we're going to flip it into, and I'm only available for this now. So, for example, with the flying only business or first class, every time you get on a plane or a train, whatever, even at a concert, you want priority seating, VIP, no matter what. You're going to walk by, even if you're still in general admission, right? You're going to walk by those first class seat people. You're going to walk by and see the people in the first 10 rows of a concert. and say, I am not available for general admission anymore. I'm not available for coach anymore. This isn't an energetic match for me any longer. Just state it like that. The truth. It's not an energetic match. It's not a vibe any longer. And then I want you to flip it to, I'm only an energetic match for VIP seating. I'm only an energetic match for sitting, business, and first class. That's what I'm available for. So state what you're no longer available for, and then state it very clearly what you're available for. And I want you to state it all the time. State it to yourself, write it. You can joke about it. You can state it to other people. I used to say this when I would be in coach. I would say it. I didn't care. The person next to me, like, I'm not available. Like, for the record, I'm not available for sitting in coach anymore. I'm only available for primo seating. And the person would laugh, but I was dead serious. And keep saying that, keep saying that. And this works for anything, right? Like, I'm not available for working tirelessly in order to have money or in order to have prestige or success. I'm just not available for it. I'm not an energetic match for this vibe anymore. I'm only available for working less while making more and prioritizing my mental health, emotional health, physical health, my spiritual health first. That's it. This is how ProjectME was created, the podcast and the business coaching brand, all using this normalization technique. And keep in mind, I'm only about 4.5 years into this brand. Like, I started this brand and didn't sell anything for about, I think, 6 months, 6 to 8 months. So 4.5 years into actually having things for sale. What are we at? I think $6 million. I would say that's worth it. Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to do this technique and show up and follow through, knowing that even in 18 months, you could have accumulated $1 million in revenue in 18 months? And this is me doing it part-time. Keep in mind, working less while making more. This is not how I started my first business, which was 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was not available for that. I refused to do it. Did I know with absolute certainty that this was possible? No, I didn't. I did not know, but I believed there had to be a way, and I was willing to experiment, and I wasn't willing to be available for how I did things before, because that shit almost killed me. Third thing, I can read my notes, by the way. Maybe I'm available for that. How about this? I'm not available for not being able to read my handwriting anymore. I'm available for being able to easily read my writing and delight in it. There you go. Third step in this technique. You're going to use that energy from steps 1 and 2 to take action. Look at what happens. You probably, if you really focus in, whether you're watching me on YouTube right now, or you're listening, or those of you who are really wild doing both, you could even hear my energy shift when I'm talking about my belief that there is a way. There is a way. There's always a way. There always is a way. There's always a new way. It's not like every single way has been figured out, or we wouldn't have new innovative things that go on in the world. I mean, we'd have a big problem with medicine. There's an example in the medical world, in the science world. There's always a way. In the engineering world, always a way. See that energy, that level of conviction and it's not energy in a stressed, frantic, scarcity, I'm burning cortisol space. We don't want that. But energy where you feel lifted and empowered and excited, and the hope and the possibility. And then that conviction of step 2 of stating what you're not available for and then stating what you are. Use that energy to motivate you to take action. Because if you don't have that motivation to do it, if you don't believe it's possible, if you don't believe it's there for you, if you don't believe that it can actually happen in an easy, relaxed manner in a healthy, positive way for the greater good of all, then you'll be in procrastination. Because why would you do it? Because it feels so hard and boring and lame and blah. You're not going to do it. So use that energy, harness that energy to get into action. Now, I know what you're going to say because I hear it all the time. Well, how do I know what action to take? How do I know what I'm supposed to do? Well, start by researching. That's how I started the business first class deal. Research, research, research. And you'll see that in that TikTok video. And I found an amazing blogger who I still use as tips today. Research, ask people, research, ask people. Now, back then, if I knew there was someone I could hire to teach me the ropes, I would have put skin in the game and done that too, right? Join my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership. You'll absolutely learn how to work less while making more, and regardless of what industry you're in, and harnessing the power of content and how to make money online and how to make passive income and all these things. You can also write the review and get the workbook for free. I'm giving you ways right here. I'm giving you your first steps. Your resistance is showing up because it's trying to tell you, well, I don't know what to do first. I don't know what to do first. You start, then Google that. Where is a great place to start if I want to bring in more money for getting weekly massages? Look at how much money it costs. It would cost to get the massage of your choice every week. And then look up ways to be able to bring in extra money that week. Maybe you open up a Poshmark store, which is very easy to do, by the way. You don't need high tech skills to do it. And there's a bunch of shit that you don't need in your house that you could sell on there. Is there a skill that you have? Do you love animals? Why don't you go on Rover? I mean, I know there's different apps for this all in different countries in the world, but like in the US, we have an app called Rover where you go on there and you can find someone to dog sit or watch your dogs, walk them during the day. And if this is something you already enjoy doing, or you can then get exercise while doing it and it sounds fun to you, why wouldn't you do that? And there's the money. There's always a way. I'm always hiring. There's always a way. Just because someone hasn't listed that there's a position, that doesn't mean someone isn't always hiring. I'm always hiring for a baller person who has a strong skill set, who does something that takes time off my plate. So if you're someone who really delights in creating YouTube videos and you're a YouTube person, you need to be DMing me up, honey, because there's some options for you here. So, but use that energy to get creative. And remember, it's not all on you. The universe is already working like that spotlight going back and forth. And you'll be in the shower, you'll be getting a frozen yogurt, and all of a sudden it'll just hit you. It'll hit you. This is how I need to do it. Or you'll meet the person. Like after this, I'm going to my trainer. And I've been putting out there, I use the same technique. I've wanted to reprioritize my health, get back into weightlifting, And I had done a lot of research and I didn't want to go to a big box gym. It wasn't the vibe for me right now. I wasn't finding anyone. And then some of the people were just, I don't know. I don't want someone who's a CrossFit vibe. I don't want that kind of a person. And I put it out there and that beacon came. You know what it came in the form is? Of all things, I got a mailer. And there are these mailers that come around where they have like different local like coupons or restaurant things, ads, they call them like circulars. And while a lot of people think mail is dead, it's not dead, because we get such little mail now because it's so expensive for companies to market to you this way, that if you do it right and you target the right people, you get business from it. And this trainer who's been in business 30 years, works with a lot of the off-season athletes here, has a really cool concept. it came in the form of that. And I don't normally always read those, but I'm a little bit of a couponer. I like a deal. I like a coupon. Don't give me some 10% off bullshit though. It better be something that like really puts some pep in my step. Better be 20% or more. And he had a great deal. It was your trial was 3 sessions for $30. I was like, okay, either this guy's a genius or this shit is Jenks. Anyway, it showed up in the form of that. So you got to be open. And there was my answer. And now I think I'm, what am I, a month in now? And things are happening, baby, over here. We're building some muscle. Okay. So the fourth thing I need to make sure, and the final thing on this is, instead of being resentful, I would say, like, this is a fourth kind of a bonus note, but instead of being resentful, I want you to put yourself in the energy that it's happening. So instead of going, oh, must be nice. Oh, they get to have this. I don't. Pity party energy, like the year pining energy. No, don't like it. Not approved by me. And you have to consciously do this because we can slip in there because we're hormonal. We have bad days. We're humans. So we just have to catch ourselves. When I can get like that, there's people at this new gym of mine where I'm like, damn, look at her arms. Like, this woman's arms are like really cut. And I was like, oh, I want my arms to be like that again. And I'm so far off. And is it even possible? Da, da, da. Then I have to shift back and go, it is happening. I don't have to wait for it. It's happening. It's not like I'm waiting until it's happening. It's happening right now. Every single cell of my body is working and it's happening right now. And this woman with these amazing arms is here to let me know what's here waiting for me. Thank God, because if I didn't see that, I wouldn't even know what's possible and I wouldn't even know what's waiting. So when you see my stuff and I'm sharing evidence for you, or you're watching on YouTube right now and you see the waves rolling in behind me, it's like, that's possible. Tiffany's evidence that this is possible for me. And if I didn't see that it was possible, I wouldn't even maybe have this desire or be able to get into that level of conviction. So I'm glad that this is possible for me. I'm glad that I'm seeing this, and I don't have to wait for this to happen. I don't have to wait for the universe to randomly bestow this upon me. I'm going to work in unison with the universe, and we are going to do it together. And that is how you speed up time. That is how you speed up your manifestations. Not sitting back. That's spiritual entitlement. But I'm going to work alongside. I'm going to work with the energy of the universe. I'm going to match that energy. I'm going to go right in on it. And that is how that man in the example beat that 4-minute mile. Did you hear him sitting back? Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to like think my way to do it. And I'll just train like how I've normally been training and keep doing the same actions that I've been doing before. And then I'm going to just think my way to having it happen. No, he had to believe, but he also had to be willing to take different actions than he was taking before in order to get a different result, and be open and willing to creative training ideas, creative possibilities, to new ways, to experimenting. And that's how it all happens. This is all here for you. I promise you. It sounds too good to be true just because of all the stuff that we've been fed and we continue to get fed. But at least for today, every day, at least once a day, I'd prefer you do it more than once a day. Say to yourself, I'm choosing to believe that it gets to be this simple, that it gets to be this abundant. It gets to really be this way. It's that everything else has made it so hard to keep us sick, to keep us down, to keep us in lack, to keep us in scarcity, because that makes a lot of people a lot of money, and it makes a lot of people and organizations able to control people when they're in a scarcity state. When you're in an abundant state, no one can control you. Everything is possible. You don't become codependent on feeling like you have to have something in order to get something. It's a real beautiful thing that happens. Go join my posse membership and see what happens for you. I've incorporated once a month now. We do deep abundance and money mindset, money block removal lessons like this. And then, of course, I have like the straight up strategy and steps and what you need to focus on and not focus on, and all of that goes on as well. But take some kind of an action. Go leave the damn review so you can get the workbook, Work Less While Making More. Join the posse for a month. I mean, I would rather you commit for a year and you'll save money and it's a great deal. And then at least you know you're committed for the year. But at the very least, investigate it, explore it, do this technique, report back. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.